Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Gaming the System, the podcast where three intersectional feminists examine gaming and games through a feminist lens. Today, I am your host, Matt, and I'm joined by my friends Alex and Jem. Before we get started, if you want to support us, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/gamingthesystem for some exclusive content, or you can send us a one-off donation via PayPal to our email address, wearegamingthesystem@gmail.com. It is time for our annual review of the year. This year's a little bit different because we have really lent into doing news stories this year that we've not done in such a specific way before. So the second half of this pair of episodes will be on our top three naughty and nice list of the best news stories versus the worst news stories. But to begin with this episode, we're going to do our best games of the year and our worst games of the year. Now, I was pleasantly surprised by how many games I've played and completed this year. And anyone want to take a guess? How many?
In the tens, I would say. Mm-hmm. Definitely. A good, maybe 27?
27.
Yeah. Complete guess.
I'm going to go with 15.
The answer is 28.
Oh, close.
Oh, Alex.
Close.
Well done, you.
Very, very good. And yeah, a lot of that has been fueled by Gaming the System, actually, because of all of the shooters was because I started streaming Bulletstorm and I can't remember what the other one was, but it was two of them.
Yeah.
And so that's my gaming habits has normally been I'll only play really long games because they have like a no end in sight thing, so I can relax into them. And then shorter games stress me out because then I go, oh my god, what am I going to play next? But this year I've been able to play so many shorter games, which has just massively expanded the amount of games I can play. But it also means that I've been exposed to some fabulous games and some dog shit excuses for appalling games. But to start with, I think we'll do a positive one each, then a bad one, then we'll do a good one first, and then we'll see how we feel after we've gone around in a circle. Okay, so game number one for me is Doom Eternal, the sequel to 2016's Doom. It is the apex in first-person shooting action. I played it a couple of years ago, but then playing it again this time specifically with the eye on researching shooting games, and it just goes off into the stratosphere in terms of the ultimate nailed down shooter experience. And it's the first time in a long time that I've played a game where I've really wanted the challenge of it, where the challenge of it is always sort of 15% of where I am at the moment, which is enough that you can do it and do it and do it, and you'll get there eventually. Mm-hmm. Whereas with a lot of games, they're not designed well enough to be worth the challenge of grinding away to try and do it really well. And I played it on a harder difficulty and made it all the way through, just it was like violent chess. And the story is completely irrelevant and just is basically non-existent. But it's the gameplay is so good that you don't care. And that's an extraordinary thing. And I played that for how long did I play that for? 20 hours, so it's a long game. And yeah, I was very surprised by how good that is. Have either of you played Doom Eternal?
No. But I've seen clips of it and things, and by all accounts, it's very positively reviewed and things like that. So yeah, not surprised.
Yeah, and the music is absolutely
Yeah.
banging. Awesome demon metal.
Suitable, definitely.
Alex,
Yes.
I'll go to you next.
Well, I've actually, in the course of us chatting, have remembered that another game that I had that wasn't on my list. So I'm going to start off with it, actually. And that is one that I think has been the most surprising game that I've played this year. And it's Thank Goodness You're Here. And it's by a very small indie developer, Coal Supper, based in Yorkshire. If you couldn't tell from the name, Coal Supper. And it's very funny. It's very strange. And it's definitely a particular type of humour. So it's probably not for everybody. But it's animated. It's a very short game. You could probably complete it in maybe 3 or 4 hours. Or maybe 5 if you want to find everything. But basically, you navigate the world by just punching everything, and that's how you interact with things. And you play a really small yellow person who gets taken to the town, the fictional town of Barnsworth, based on... Where's Barnsworth, the real place? Based on somewhere
Barnsley.
up north. Barnsley. Yes, that's the one. In Yorkshire. So everyone has the Yorkshire accents, and some of them have non-Yorkshire accents, but they just have funny voices anyway. And you go around the town and you end up having to do all these little tasks for everybody, because they're all like, oh, thank goodness you're here. You can help with X, Y, Z. And so it just keeps going like that. And it's really quirky. The animation style is really good. It's really... it takes some strange turns, let's say. I won't spoil it for if you're interested in playing. But even like the world building, the way it introduces the game is so cool. It just really puts you into like, okay, we're in Yorkshire now, and this is how Yorkshire is. It starts off with a series of promotional, like tourist board sort of adverts for the town. So it does like local food, like beans. Not quite beans, not quite peas. Big Ron's big pies. Give your wife the best. Give her Big Ron's big pies. That kind of thing. And it's just really fun and really funny. And I would advise, if you're going to play it, just punch everything at least 3 times, because that's when you get the most fun out of all the interactions between characters. It's just really cool. Yeah.
There's definitely a trend of games set in the north and Scotland at the moment, because Still Wakes the Deep is based on set in the North Sea in an oil rig, and Scottish.
Yeah.
And some of them definitely sound like people who aren't Scottish doing Scottish accents.
Yeah.
Jen, what's your number one?
I'm just going to go in with the one that we're all thinking. For me, it absolutely is Baldur's Gate 3. Because I spent such a significant amount of my gaming time this year playing that, and I was just looking on Steam, and I've got like just under 470 hours in it.
Yeah.
Now, I do wonder if some of those are times when I paused it, went away, and then just completely didn't get to go back to it. I don't know, but yeah, I think I definitely spent a lot of time in the game.
Quick question.
And I think
for you,
also
Jen.
those. Sorry.
How long was that in character creator? How long did you spend in that?
Do you know what? Actually, I thought I was going to spend hours in the character creator, and I was really excited and looking forward to it. And I got through it really quickly. I was really surprised.
Because there's so many options there, isn't there?
There are, yeah, no, absolutely. But I knew that I wanted to be a druid, so that was kind of like at least part of the the problem solving. I really enjoyed it. It's probably the only game that I've completed this year, and I enjoyed almost every minute of it, and I'm still enjoying remembering it and thinking about it, and I still want to go back. I started a replay, but just didn't quite get hooked on it again, but I think that was more to do with non-gaming stuff than the game. I mean, the other thing about it is because it's such an impactful game, because so many people have really engaged with it and really enjoyed it, there's a lot of other stuff around it as well. So there's I get loads of posts on Instagram and TikTok and all those sorts of feeds with the voice characters doing stuff and just sort of spin-off stuff from the game. So even though the game has been out for over a year now, I think it's still got a real energy about it and a real allure that other games that would have lost by this point. So yeah, it's got to be Baldur's Gate. It's got to be up there for me.
Yeah, I think we're going to be having conversation about that well into next year.
For sure. I think they're due to introduce crossplay soon, so we should definitely.
That would be the best.
Yeah,
that would be the absolute best when that comes out. But they haven't announced when it's going to be yet. But that would be the perfect place to just talk about everything to do with Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Especially if we got Finn in as well, who came and talked to us about it, because they're just obsessed with it. But they keep doing speed runs and what's it? I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the psychotic run where you're not allowed to die. You can't.
The Dark Urge, isn't it? Yeah.
Or just one death.
Yeah.
As the Dark Gods seem to have frozen Gem.
They have indeed. Oh dear.
Can you hear us? Can you still hear us, Gem?
Are you there, Gem?
May need to go out and come back in again.
Shall we continue?
Could you put a message?
I shall. Yes, we'll put a message in the chat.
Part 2 for me.
Yes.
Elden Ring. Big hitter back out of nowhere from 4 years ago. Came out in 2020, I think. And I got back into it, and it was a very awesome organic experience because I'd found out about the concert that I went to, and that was in April. And I've been watching all the lore stuff, awesome lore videos on YouTube, and the music and the visuals, and then the DLC was coming out, and I was just I'm an Anarin waiting, pacing myself, getting up to it, and I've got Jem back. It's good. I'm just talking about.
She has returned.
Number 2 is Elden Ring for me, and got the game, played through again. DLC came out, played through the DLC, and it was just absolutely magnificent. An honourable mention that I'll put in for this game and the next game that I'm going to talk about is mods. Gaming mods absolutely fucking saved the day with Elden Ring, because without the mods that I used on it, I wouldn't have been able to enjoy it the way that I did. And because of those mods, I was able to spend over 100 hours in it and experience it the way that I wanted to, which just, it wouldn't be on the list if I didn't have those mods. And it just shows you don't need to like do it all the brutal, difficult way. You can do it the fun, simpler way if you want to, and that's a thing that we encourage a lot on Game of the System, is you can turn the difficulty down. It doesn't mean you're any less of a pro gamer. That's fine. Alex, you're number 2.
Well, turning the difficulty down is something I wish I could have done earlier today when playing my next game on the list for some of my best games of this year, and that's Astrobot. And you might laugh thinking, well, surely Astrobot's an easy game, right? But I come to you and say it is, like many of the games of our childhood, a classic platformer of the 90s, and so it has impossibly hard bits in it, which actually made me rage quit earlier today. There are these little challenge levels that are all of the buttons on the PlayStation. So there's like circle levels, triangle levels, square levels, and X levels. And I'm currently in square levels. And basically, it's really hard and it's very frustrating. But generally, I would encourage both of you to play Astrobot because it's amazing. It's so nostalgic. It actually teaches you how the PlayStation works, which is really cool, if you want to go towards that side of it. But it's just a real celebration of basically 30 years of PlayStation, which has been happening this week. I think the 3rd of December was the actual 30th anniversary of PlayStation being launched in Japan. And you could customize your PS5 to celebrate the fact and have it make all the sounds of the old consoles like PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4. I've currently set mine to PS2 because that is the time that I remember gaming the most. Yeah, so cool. Very, very nostalgic. But yeah, Astrobot is just so fun, apart from the rage quitting bits. It's just so cleverly designed, all the levels. There's really cool secret levels at the end of each section, which kind of pay homage to an icon of PlayStation. And Matt, let me tell you, you're not going to be disappointed with one of them, and I won't spoil it because I don't want to spoil it, but you're going to love it. I kept saying when I was playing through, Matt's going to love this. He'll go absolutely bananas for it. Yeah, it's so great. But yeah, equally frustrating. I think that's one of the best things about a game is that it has enjoyable parts and also really challenging parts, and part of the challenge is to try and you can work up to those if you want to, but equally you get a full experience if you just leave those alone if you want to, if you can manage to tear yourself away. But I haven't quite completed it yet, but I'm very much enjoying it, and I would encourage you both to purchase it as and when funds become available.
I'm excited about that. I remember was it a last Astrobot that came out with PS5 a few years ago? Came up with it. That had the best the way the controller reacts to things, like the buttons. Sometimes they'll go really stiff for certain bits, and the vibrations and the noises that come out of the controller. It's all so much more immersive than a lot of other games, and really utilises the DualShock, which is very cool. Yeah.
Jem,
what is your next game?
What's your favourite game, Lola?
For those who aren't watching, Jem's lovely cat has sound screen.
Yeah, I think she's just cold. So my next game is going to be a board game actually, because one of the games that we've been playing in my house is Pandemic Legacy, and some of you may have played Pandemic, which is a game that 2020 brought us scarily close to, but it's a game where you play. It's a collaborative game where you play with your teammates as different characters with different skills, and you have more characters available than players usually, so you can pick and choose, and so some can do certain things that others can't do and stuff like that. So you might have somebody who can move pieces around the board, and somebody else who can deal with the virus and get rid of the virus. And the idea is that at various points, random points through the game, you get what's called an an infection, an epidemic, and that it basically increases the amount of virus in the game. So you're fighting against time, really. It's a race against time, because the more you pull these cards, the harder it is to win the game. And if you have a certain amount of epidemics, then you lose the game anyway. But Pandemic Legacy took that concept and has turned it into a serial game. So you buy the box, buy the board game, and as you play it, there are things that happen within the game that make permanent changes to your game. So you might tear up a card and that's no longer in it. You stick stuff on the board, which might impact how you start the next game, or how easy or hard it is going forward. And each month you get 2 chances to win the month. The game's quite good at balancing it, because if you lose, you usually get a bit of a boost to help you to win the next go. And as you go through it, the story progresses via a little set of cards that you turn over and read, which might say give you extra stuff. So you also get boxes of new pieces, you get new cards that will be added into the game, you get some that take cards out, you get challenges that you have to achieve in order to complete the game. And it was so much fun. We played the season 1, myself, Daniel, my husband, and my mum, and we played it. It took us about 2 years, I think, to play it all through, and we really enjoyed it. And it was so satisfying when we won it. I mean, it was so satisfying when you win a month, but when you win the whole game, it was really satisfying. And the game can end in all sorts of different ways, so you sort of have a almost unique storyline. The interesting thing is you can't replay the game because you've made all the changes. So once you've played it through, that's it. You keep it, or you chuck it, or recycle it, or whatever. Which I think is a shame, but is also kind of fun about the way the game works. So we enjoyed it so much that we got season 2, and we've been playing that this year. And I'm not kidding you, but we have failed 6 times in a row now. And the last time we failed was a couple of weeks ago. And, you were talking about rage quitting, Alex. Yeah. And I've had such a hissy fit because we were this close to winning, and we just got an epidemic and it wiped us out. And we were just like, no. And I was like, I think we should go back. We should just roll it. And I was like, no, we're very good at not cheating. And you get so involved in it, and because it's collaborative. Such a long
period of time as well. Yeah.
Yes. And because it's a collaborative game, you're not competing against each other, so you're working together. So it kind of really builds your teamwork and your communication skills, and it's just a really fun game. And the best thing about it is that you can add in players just for one month. So you play a session, and say you've got your friends round and they want to play, then you bring them in on it, and they can have some of the extra characters, and it balances itself without any problem in that scenario. So it's a really interesting take on the traditional board game, and I would absolutely recommend it to anyone who enjoys board games and enjoys collaborative board games. It's quite a lot of money to shell out initially, because I think they're usually about £50 to £60 for the box, but I mean that's the equivalent to a high-end game, isn't it, or cheaper than a high-end game, and this will last you for many play hours. So I think it's a good investment if that is your bag.
Yeah, a very positive thing about board games is that they're pretty much impossible to add microtransactions to.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
they'll stay sacred with that. My third game is echoing Gem's first one, which is Baldur's Gate 3. It's just impossibly good in every way. It's practically flawless. It was the Dragon Age sequel I wanted. And then when I played that, I think, oh my god, imagine what Dragon Age is going to do next. Considering this is someone else doing something like this. Oh, and Dragon Age will one up this. But we'll get onto that later. So I played the first playthrough on PlayStation because I bought it when it was released on PlayStation, tried it, didn't really like it, put it away. Then I've told the story before. I was watching a stream and I heard this fabulous voice and looked and saw Karlach, the tiefling barbarian, and went, oh, and angels sang, and I had to play the game so I could romance her. And I did that playthrough, had a fabulous time. And then, because the only flaw in it, pretty much, is that you can't look up. The camera is locked. You can't see the sky, and I had that. My thumb twitched constantly throughout the entire 100 hours I was playing, going, I want to look up. And it would just get stuck there. Again, the mods came in to save the day because I bought it again on PC, played it on PC, and found a mod where I could just look up. And it felt like an entirely new game because there's loads of stuff. There's a mage tower in the Underdark.
Yeah.
That if you just look, it's just, oh yeah, it looks mushroom and darkness over there, mushroom darkness over there. You look up, mushroom darkness lake tower that goes all the way up to the ceiling. And
it's really strange, isn't it, that they coded that, they designed that, but they hadn't you weren't able to see it.
Well, that's the only flaw that I would take up with them, but mods come and save the day. And it's one of the most modded games in history.
Wow. Even more than Skyrim?
Yeah, that just goes to show how engaged people are, considering the amount of mods that they make.
Yeah.
So, yeah, more exciting stuff. Alex, your number 3.
So my number 3 is a game that is, again, quite a small sort of game, but it's very much for you if you enjoy chill puzzles and cats. And it's called A Little to the Left. And I have actually not quite bought all the DLC. I've got one of them, but there's another one that's been released this year. And that really egged me on to actually buy it properly and play it, because I've been looking at it for a very long time. And basically you just get lots of little puzzles, and sometimes they're like logic based and sometimes they're more to do with organizing what's on screen. So you could have like a shelf of, or a drawer of like kitchen utensils, and you have to put them all into their little bits, or like a box of light bulbs, and you have to make sure they go in the package, in the right order. And for someone who is very much enjoying that sort of activity, I find it very satisfying and very relaxing. And there's nice music that plays while you're doing it. And then occasionally you'll get interrupted by like a little cat's paw that comes in and swats to the next puzzle. And occasionally you get to stroke the cat, which is nice. But yeah, it's just really chill, and it just helps to kind of take your mind off stuff, and you get really focused in on the puzzle. And there's sometimes multiple solutions as well, which is really fun. And lots of trophies to unlock as well. It's different ones, like where if you go through the whole thing without using a hint, or if you skip levels a certain number of times, you get a trophy. So all sorts of ways you can satisfy your completionist urges as well if you want to get lots of trophies. The DLC has been really fun as well, just more of the same, except cupboards and drawers is the one that I've played. The clue's in the name. It's just lots of cupboards and drawers. And then the next one is, I think, more to do with seeing stars, which are the things that you collect when you complete puzzles. But yeah, if you're into chill puzzles, this one's for you, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to a few small things to
Yes,
kill,
yeah.
to chill out. Jen, what's your number 3?
I'm actually going to. I've got lots actually that I could go lots of computer games, but I'm going to go with Hive, which is actually a little tile game that you can play. There's just a 2-player game. It's 1-on-1, and it comes in a little bag, and it's a bunch of tiles. And the aim of the game is to protect your queen bee from being surrounded by your opponent's bugs. And you can, it's just such a good game because you can shove it in your rucksack and you can take it wherever you're going, and waiting for food order at dinner, or you've got, like, you're sitting at a cafe watching the world go by, or you're on, or you're at the airport, or you're in the supermarket, whatever. You can basically get this game out, and perhaps not in the supermarket, but anyway, you can get this game out and play it anywhere. And it has no setup other than sharing out the colours of the tiles, and you can just play, and it's different every time, and it's really quick to pick up the rules, and just really fun little game that has a little bit of a sort of strategic nod to games like chess and checkers and drafts and even noughts and crosses. It's just a really sweet little easy to play game that I discovered it this year, took it on holiday with me, but I take it with me everywhere. It's just the sort of thing that I just shove in a bag on a picnic, or just anything where you can find a reasonably flat surface to play it on. So yeah,
I concur, Jen. We were gifted it by friends earlier this year as well, and it's so fun. We've actually bought the mosquito and I think it's some kind of beetle, like extra DLC pieces that you can add to it.
Are they the ones that can go on the top?
Yeah, I think so. Beetles. Yeah, there's a different kind of, I can't remember if it's not a beetle, but it's a different kind of insect. And then there's a mosquito, which can take on, if you put it on top of another bug, it takes on what that bug does, and then it's like an extra bug.
Oh my gosh.
Like it's very cool. I concur though, it's a really fun game. Yeah.
I've just been watching quite a few clips from Starship Troopers.
Oh.
And it's making me think of that.
Yes. They're not that.
Yeah, no, not like
they're
that.
really cute designs as well, and they're
It's
really
nice.
Game. Yeah, really nice pieces. They've got a nice heft to them as well. Yeah,
it's exciting. So those are our top 3 games. Each we'll do a rapid fire walkthrough of the worst games that we've either seen or played ourselves this year, just because assign them to the dustbin of history, and then we'll move on to the news. So, number 1 for me was, well, this isn't in a particular order, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. It feels that was one of the most disappointing gaming revelations that I've ever had, because it was the start. So the theme of my 3 ones is beloved, iconic franchises that have just been utterly destroyed and burnt to the ground and salted the earth behind them. And Suicide Squad was done by Rocksteady, the ones who did the Arkham series, some of the best games ever. And then they went, no, we want that microtransaction market. So we'll just take the name Rocksteady and Arkham, and then people will pay money for it. But then they've lost hundreds of millions of dollars in it. So it was all for nothing. So that was a devastating start to the year. Alex.
Well, I have a little story attached to one of my worst. I wouldn't say, well, actually, it probably is. It's a board game that my partner happened to win in a raffle at his local board game cafe. And he brought it back and thought, well, he'd done rather well out of it, because to win, you had like 20 games up for grabs. And the point of it was, if you rolled, like in D&D, if you rolled a high number, you got a choice of whichever of the top set that he wanted. So he picked this one, and it was called Martians, A Story of Civilization. And he brought it back and he said, "Oh, I reckon this is probably at least £40 if I was to pay for it." Right. And he takes it out of his bag and puts it down and shows it to me. And we lift it up and it's like, "Oh, it's quite heavy, isn't it? Yeah, it must be quite expensive." Yeah. So a few weeks go by and we think, right, shall we get out today and have a look and see if we can play it? Because it says 2-player. So we open it up, start getting all the bits out, have a look at the board. It's quite big. It's got all sorts of stuff all over it. And then we pull out the instructions. And again, that's quite comprehensive. It's quite a big booklet. Then we look in and we see a hardback book, and we look at it and think, "Oh, is this some extra lore about the world?" And we look at it again and realise, hold on a minute, what does this say? It says Space Babes on it. That can't be right. And then we look underneath that, and there's another book and another magazine, and then we realise we've uncovered a stash of pornography. And it turned out that someone had been using it as a hiding place, the board game itself, and had clearly never played the game because some of it was still under wraps and things. And so we thought, right, we better tell the board game cafe, because this was up for grabs in a raffle, and they clearly didn't check it beforehand because there might be kids in that raffle. You know, anything could have happened. It was lucky we got it. So after we calmed down a little bit, and we composed an email to the board game cafe, and they managed to reply and said, "Oh yeah, it was brought in by an older lady. So perhaps their son or their husband had hidden away a stash, and now it's gone." So yeah, that was a rather interesting discovery. So once we got over that, and we'd given the pornography its final destination of a landfill site near you, we decided to have a look at the game properly. And we discovered actually the version that we had is a Kickstarter version. So someone had paid a lot of money to get their hands on this board game, never to play it, and to use it as a storage facility for certain illicit items, which we found even more hilarious, you know, given the fact that it was like a first edition, like Kickstarted version of whatever this game was. I think it's possibly Polish, because some of the instructions look like they're in Polish. And so we spent a good half an hour trying to set up the board. And it's incredibly complex and complicated. And I think there might have been mistranslations in some of the things, because there was like appendices which had a lot of corrections in it. And in the end, we ended up going on YouTube trying to figure out how to actually play, because it was so complicated that I couldn't make head nor tail of it. And in the end, after like an hour and a bit, we gave up because we hadn't actually managed to achieve anything. And there were like 3 different ways of doing it. You could play as a team, you could play as a sort of semi-competitively, or you could play completely against each other. And we just couldn't work out what the objectives were, how to achieve them, what certain things meant. And it was just far too busy and too complicated and too long. And so we've assigned it to the pile of games we probably won't be picking up again anytime soon. And it was a very disappointing and interesting, surprising experience, given what we found when we opened the box. But so that goes on my list of worst games of 2024. Sorry to say it.
That's such a wild story.
It is, isn't it? It's not what we were expecting at all.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
So, that's wild.
Wow.
Jem, bad game from this year.
Yeah, so this is a quick one. So I bought Gloomhaven, which is actually a board game with tabletop sort of RPG, but I didn't buy the tabletop RPG. I see that I'm twisting it up. I bought the PC version of it via Steam, and I've been quite looking forward to playing it because I've got some friends who have completed it in the tabletop version and were very enthusiastic about the game. and I thought it would be a nice combination of sort of D&D style game with the sort of on the PC. But and I don't think that this is the game's fault. I think this is down to the player. But I just found it so difficult. I died instantly. I was just struggled, and then I just was like, no. Do you know what? There are a lot of games out there, and I don't have time to try and work this out. It just annoyed me. I didn't rage quit as such, as just kind of lost the will to continue gaming. So I just had to put it on hold. I don't know. I've just got the feeling that I'd missed something fundamental with it. It was so difficult, and I wasn't playing it on a difficult setting, and I just felt like, okay, I mean, I've been playing RPGs my whole life, so I felt like I should have been able to get past the first set of monsters, but I couldn't even do that. So yeah, it's hardcore.
Yeah, it's the worst thing a game can make you do is just go, because something can be dynamic and be shit, but when it's lame and shit, it's just unbearable. I'll do my last one, which is just Dragon Age and Elgard. Absolutely brutal. The absolute death knell of an iconic studio in a franchise, and they're going back to Mass Effect next, so they're going to just drive that further into the ground. Thank you both. We're just about at the edge of our time for that, so thank you both for your lists of good games and some bad games. We hope you enjoyed that episode of Gaming the System. If you want to support us, you can donate to us through our PayPal by sending it to wearegamingthesystem@gmail.com if you want to send us a one-off donation. If you want to donate to us monthly, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/gamingthesystem. Until next time, bye-bye.